Welcome back. I'm Tiffany Meyer. How will U.S. arms sales change under President Trump's America First arms transfer strategy? We dive into the latest op-ed from Secretary of State Marco Rubio and War Secretary Pete Hegseth and Rubio's speech at the Munich Security Conference. Joining us now to discuss are Andrew Harding, Senior Associate for National Security Coalitions at the Heritage Foundation, and Mike Sarraille, U.S. Navy SEAL veteran, as well as military and national security analyst. Thank you both so much for joining us. Now, Andrew, Rubio and Hegseth in the op-ed emphasizing President Trump's commitment to peace through strength, citing a recent executive order that will ensure U.S. weapons get delivered to our partners in a timely manner. How big of a shift is this from our current system?
Well, it's good to be back. And I think this is a very big shift. It's President Trump making very clear that time is no longer on our side when it comes to getting the necessary reforms to put America first and to keep American citizens and allies safe. Whether we're thinking about a potential conflict with China, or as we're seeing right now with Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and of course, monitoring the situation with Iran and always with North Korea up to something, it's very important that the defense industrial base is absolutely ready to roll to ensure that America and its troops have the platforms and munitions necessary to deter a conflict, but if needed, also to win a conflict. So this executive order ensures that these bottlenecks are addressed and ensures that allies that have strategic interests in geographies that are aligned to the United States are prioritized. And it also ensures that there's accountability with a quarterly report being introduced to ensure that those in the defense industrial base supplying America with its needed arms, as well as its allies, are able to be held accountable by the public as well as Congress to ensure that America's security is put first and that we're able to ensure that safety is maximized as quickly as possible.
And Mike, what would this look like in practice?
So ultimately, he's solving two problems here. One internal and two external are allies. But this is going to create middle-class jobs. This is going to create logistical supply resiliency, and we're going to see private capital flow in. So, Andrew is right. There's a very unique threat environment in front of us. And through this order, Trump, Hegseth, and Marco Rubio are really revitalizing Arsenal of Democracy 2.0. They're aligning diplomacy with industrial production. So it does aid us by giving our allies what they need. It holds ourselves accountable. And we've heard a lot of tough rhetoric from the Trump administration towards our NATO allies, not only the increase in their GDP spend for defense, but now we're looking in the mirror and saying, hey, if you pay a bill, you're not going to get hit with a 5-year wait list. We're going to get you what you need now. It has security implications across the globe. But again, internally, we're answering our issues with the defense industrial base, how slow they've been, how they haven't been held accountable. And finally, we're putting policy in place, and you've got to applaud that this is what real leadership and foresight look like from an administration.
And Andrew, digging in here, the secretaries highlight streamlining our diplomatic and defensive systems so that from the start, export of our weapons to our partners is a priority. What would a change like this mean for global deterrence?
Well, I think this type of change is very helpful when it comes to deterring America's adversaries from taking any chance against testing America's armed services and those that keep us safe. I think what's very important here, and as Mike noted, as the executive order discusses, is that it's going to prioritize allies that are able to increase their defense spending, that takes their own defense seriously, and they're effectively showing that money talks, that they are backing their rhetoric with spending and ensuring that they're putting their sovereignty, their national defense first, and indicating to the United States that they are capable partners. President Trump and the administration has made very clear that the United States wants capable partners and allies, not dependencies. And this executive order is very much in that line that rewards. It provides an incentive structure for America's allies and partners to work closely with U.S. interests, to identify where our interests align, and collectively ensure that we're able to have global deterrence against adversaries or actors that may want to act against us. But this accountability mechanism also ensures that defense companies that are providing these arms sales are not going to focus on stock buybacks. They're not going to focus on just purely the bottom line here, but they're going to focus on meeting their deadlines. They're going to focus on the top necessary platforms, as the national security strategy identifies, that's most essential for keeping America secure and safe from its adversaries. So I think from a deterrent standpoint, having this type of executive order supercharges America's ability to defend itself and ensures that the public and private sector are working more closely together. And it ensures that, once again, America can feel safer knowing that we have the capabilities at home to produce the arms that keep us and our allies safe.
And Mike, there's been a lot of focus and praise on Secretary of State Marco Rubio's speech in Munich. Many see it as a reassuring message of the U.S. as a partner. Here's actually part of that speech now.
Together, we can reindustrialize our economies and rebuild our capacity to defend our people. But the work of this new alliance should not be focused just on military cooperation and reclaiming the industries of the past. It should also be focused on together advancing our mutual interests in new frontiers, unshackling our ingenuity, our creativity, and the dynamic spirit to build a new Western century.
Mike, what do you make of the tone here? It seems quite different from past speeches from the administration.
Yes, much different than especially the World Economic Forum in Davos. You know, we've given our very strong criticism of our NATO allies and other allies, and rightfully that was well placed. But ultimately, when we look in the mirror and we come back and say, hey, we are not being quick enough with our industrial production as well as delivery to our allies, again, we're acknowledging that we've fallen short in certain aspects of our agreement as allies. You know, at the end of the day, Tiffany, the U.S. controls about 40% of the global arms market. I think we have over 900 billion in orders, delayed orders with about 190 partners. The key thing here is that when we don't deliver on time, and it's no different than a consumer buying a product, if they know the lead time is going to be, let's just say, just extraordinarily ridiculous, they're going to look elsewhere for the arms. We know we produce the best tech. We just showed that with the raid on to capture Maduro, where we defeated the anti-aircraft weapons of both Russia and China. Our military technology is the finest in the world. Our allies depend on that. Our allies deserve that. And to Andrew's point, stronger allies across the globe leads to more deterrence from the United States. So they definitely did a good job, Marco Rubio, with sort of bridging that criticism into, hey, we've said what we need to say. You are stepping up with your GDP defense, and we are going to step up in kind to get you what you need when you need it.
And Andrew, going deeper into Rubio's speech here, what does a united Western civilization mean for adversaries like communist China?
Well, I think it shows that President Trump has made it once again very clear, and through Secretary Rubio in his speech, that the United States wants to see a renewed U.S.-Europe relationship and alliance, not a retreat. And that's important, as it makes very clear to the Chinese Communist Party that the United States is not standing back from the world, but rather realigning it to ensure that American interests are maximized, to ensure that our partners and allies are capable of supporting themselves. But it also ensures, from specifically a European context, that the U.S. and Europe are going to be as lockstep as possible in ensuring that our alliance is secure from Chinese malign influence, is protected from China's weaponization of supply chains, and should there be some type of conflict scenario in the years ahead, ensures that the United States and Europe will closely work together, that allows the United States to fight any conflict necessary in the Indo-Pacific, with European support in making sure that that is possible, but importantly, that the European continent is safe, that the Europeans can say, we have this under control. There will not be any secondary conflict that could come that could put the United States in a very difficult position. So I think the Chinese Communist Party should be well aware of President Trump and Secretary Rubio's commitment to the relationship, making very clear that there are pressure points, as noted, that NATO has to step up, that there have to be some changes. But this is not a United States walking away. As the Secretary made very clear, sometimes there are disagreements, but America's disagreements is out of a love and a desire for Europe to be as strong as possible to ensure its own citizens are safe, and as a result, amplifying American security. That should scare any American adversary.
Andrew Harding, Mike Sarraille, thank you both so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tiffany.